Hi, good morning. This is Gayatri Jayaraman. Welcome back to Shamaha. Those of you who are subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing, and your feedback, comments, suggestions, questions really help me sort of drive this thing forward. Those of you who are new, welcome. I hope you'll find this a good space in which to exchange ideas and basically connect and indulge in some contemplation and meditation. Just a reminder to all of you who haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, because that is apparently what drives the algorithm and allows us to reach a lot more people, which is great to do. So let's get to it. This morning, I've had a week of sort of listening to a lot of feedback from a lot of people. So thank you so much for that. That really helps. So today I want to focus on the 5 ways in which we self-sabotage. A lot of you have exams coming up, major decisions. The economy is moving. Maybe some of you have job opportunities. Some of you are dealing with the ill health of a relative or a family member. And you're at points where you need to sort of get things done, right? And there are sometimes these things that block us from taking the decisions that help us move forward in our best selves, living our best lives. So these are the 5 things that I think you really need to look out for when you're making a decision of any sort, or just trying to get on with your life. And the first of this is we live inside a construct. Let me explain what we mean by this. Okay, a construct is something that is created, that is pieced together, and a lot of us tend to live our lives based on what other people think of us or the feedback that they have given to us. And sometimes we create this construct ourselves because we have internalized that feedback throughout our lives. So there could be a voice in our head saying that, you are always non-confrontational. Okay, or you are too confrontational, or you're a spiritual person, or you can't do this is not meant for you. Okay, in whatever way, you don't have the capacity to crack an exam like this. You don't have what it takes to put in the hard work. You don't have the ability to sit down and complete things. You don't have discipline. And these are things that people like parents, well-meaning elders, teachers have told us at some point or the other. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. I was once in music class, I think in the 4th standard, and the music teacher basically called my mother and said, she has a very good sense of rhythm, but she will never be able to sing. So in my whole life, I never went back to trying to sing. And it's not that I would be a vidushi or a pandita and giving classical performances right now, but I do wish that I had at least not internalized it so much that I would have kept at trying to maybe hold a note, and maybe with 10 years of practice I would be able to sing a decent enough song to myself. So there's no great harm done, but I just offering you that as an example of the way in which we internalize feedback as children to such an extent that we block those aspects as options. We don't give ourselves the opportunity to try, to fail, to enjoy it, to enjoy the process even. So there are a lot of these kind of ways in which we cut off our options towards ourselves, and we all live inside this kind of construct. So for instance, as we grow older, we give importance to how we look, how people think we look, what image we are projecting, and what happens is the farther and farther you go from what people think you are and what you really want, you're going to find that the path goes this way. Okay, it's a divergence, and there is a point when you are here and the life you're living is here, and when you look from here to here, you feel a gap. And that gap is what manifests as loneliness, as sort of just, feeling inadequate, feeling worthless, feeling like you're living a lie, feeling dissatisfied in any form. Maybe even this is something that can take us down the road to depression later on. And a lot of times this will manifest as crises. This can manifest as physical ailments, a back pain, a headache, migraines, just feeling demotivated. It can manifest in emotional terms, and it can even manifest in further self-sabotage, where, say you're down this path and it looks good on paper. Everybody thinks you have this perfect life. You've ticked all the boxes. You've bought the house, you've married, you've got the kids, you've got the dream job, and the dream job now offers you a promotion, and suddenly you're looking at it and going, wait, no, I don't want it, right? And so at that point people are saying, oh my god, you're going through a midlife crisis, what's wrong with you? And you're thinking, no, but I just can't. I've lived this life for so long in my life, I can't go any further. And whether or not you want to perpetuate that lie, that construct, something in you breaks down, something in you holds you back. That's what living in a construct does to us, and we all do this to lesser or greater degrees. Okay, we perpetuate this, even to the extent of somebody says, and you go down in your building and somebody say, hey, how are you doing? And we don't say I'm not doing fine, we say I'm doing fine in your workplace. Of course, because we don't want to let everybody inside our constructs. So some constructs are necessary, but some constructs, it only becomes a problem when you start lying to yourself. So it's necessary to constantly go back. Sometimes when you reach this part where the divergence is so great that you are sort of lost in loneliness, you'll have to trace all the way back here, bring this all the way back here and say, now what is it I really want? But here's the trick. Okay, when you have bought into the construct yourself and you say, what is it I really want? The answer for you is going to come from the construct. Okay, so you have bought into the lie, you have bought into the illusion, you have bought into this thing that you have spent so many years building up, that is what is going to respond to you and say, hey, look, you have everything you need. Look at, just list it out on paper. You've hit all the milestones, and you're going to say, okay, I'm fine, but then why am I not feeling fine? Oh, just get over it. So you will not get a truthful answer by simply checking with your construct. You have to go deeper. And this is where instruments like meditation, therapy, self-clarification, whatever format suits you. Some people take to religion, some people take to spiritual practice, some people take to physical practice. Anything that allows you to get in touch with your mind, your body, your spirit, in a very authentic and real way, that brings you out of the scope of all these constructs. It could be painting. You could spend 3 hours painting and just be projecting a very authentic sense of yourself onto that canvas, and those 3 hours undisturbed are your meditation. That's fine. You don't have to do what everybody says you have to do. There are no 5 ways in which you can be in touch with yourself, otherwise you cannot be in touch with yourself. For some people it's just jogging, right? It's an hour of jogging in the morning in which there is nothing to interrupt them, clutter their mind. Whatever works for you as an instrument. But also keep in mind that you have to remember that this is an instrument, and it cannot become this ritual that sort of becomes mandatory, obligatory, or compulsion. I find a lot of people saying things like, if I don't meditate in the morning, I feel disturbed. Why? Because the meditation has become more important than you and your life and your awareness. The meditation is also just an instrument. If you're finding yourself getting too attached to something, then you need to start moving away from it, or starting to realign yourself with it so that you realize it is only an instrument. So whatever instrument you are using, you need to use that medium to go into it, go beneath the construct. In this way, questioning the construct, even questioning the instrument that you use to re-examine the construct, by moving out of the construct, is very important to question yourself. One way a lot of people do this is to exit the physical or tangible environment, which is why some people take breaks. people say, ask the question, why did Gautama Buddha abandon his wife and his family, or why did Adi Shankara have to leave home? Why do sages and seers sort of give up life, and do I have to do that to be, self-inquiry? No, you don't have to. But the thing is that when you move out of the shadow of the construct of what people apply to you as labels, what people see you as, what people think of you as, then you're able to reach a place where of self-examination which is free from these constructs. So whatever way you need to do that, it could be taking a break, or it could be within, if you're not able to take a break within your own environment, use meditation, use deep meditation, and sort of liberate yourself from these labels and ask yourself fresh, who am I? Otherwise, the questions that you will get back from the construct will just affirm who everybody thinks you are, and that you have introjected, you have sort of internalized as your own projection of yourself. So once you question yourself in this sort of environment of freedom, you will be able to realign with the idea of yourself that you authentically want to be. It'll click, it'll feel right, it will feel comfortable, it won't feel unnatural, and that is what you're looking for, right? The third aspect that I wanted to talk to you about is we keep looking to the past. So let's say I've sort of looked beyond my construct. I know who I actually want to be and the things that I need to do that I'm not really doing. I want to go ahead, but you know what? The past is much more comfortable. It's just easier. Everything is set up in terms of finances, in terms of emotions, in terms of the support I get. I'll have to convince 20 people that this is not what I want to do. So we keep trying to keep one foot in the past. Also, if it's a stream of income and you're changing your job, you're thinking, let me just, do this. We don't invest 100% in something that we're walking towards, and when you don't invest 100% in it, you will not get 100% return, because you're still invested 40% in the past, so you're still looking to the 40%. Your faith is in the 40%. 100% of your faith is in the 40%. 100% of your doubt is in the 60%. So, and you're looking at the 60% and saying, this needs to work for me, then I'll let that go. But how is it going to work? You've invested only your self-doubt, you've invested only your lack of faith, you've put one foot in the past, all your faith is there, but you expect the result from here. That's not going to work. So for you, it's kind of like you have to, it's the same principle as resistance, right? You're making your resistance larger. And those of you who haven't seen that video, please do, find it in my playlists. There's a video on resistance there. Say you have 2 garden plots and you have seeds. Now you're investing these seeds that you have in your hand here in this garden plot. You water it, you wait for it to grow. Over here, you don't have anything. You don't have seeds. And you water it and you wait for it to grow. Which one is going to give you a plant? Right? So when you focus on what you don't have, you're planting the seeds of what you don't have. You're saying, I don't have this, therefore this should give me results. It's not going to give you results. If you have seeds of some sort, if you have interest, you have motivation, you have energy, you have study, you have learning, you have time, okay, and you're putting all those things into something, it's going to grow. You have faith, you have a sense of purpose, you have a sense of knowing. All those are things that we invest. Don't invest those in the wrong space. If you don't want that to grow, don't invest it in there. Invest it here, right? A lot of times we are very certain that something won't work out. I'm going to try this, but it's not going to work out. Why are you investing in something that you don't know for sure? How do you know it's not going to work out? But you've already invested your faith in the fact that it's not going to work out. So what are you investing? You're investing in something that you are sure does not exist. So the non-existence of it is what is going to grow. Do you see how we self-sabotage? So there is necessarily a need, if you are moving forward on something, to leave the past behind, to not look to the past for the answers, to not look for recurring patterns, because you are at this point trying to free yourself from recurring patterns. So you have to look to what you have, your confidence, your faith, your knowledge, your intuition, your trust, your dedication, your hard work, your sense of self, and invest those in your future, right? So that is the need for, that is number 3. Number 4 is distractions. Okay, the 4th way of self-sabotage is distractions, and I'll tell you a beautiful way in which all of you do this is music. Okay, a lot of you say, I meditate to music, I meditate to a guided meditation, I read a book. Please be very clear that when you have spent 20 minutes meditating to music, you have listened to music, you have not meditated. When you have spent 20 minutes listening to a guided meditation, you have listened to somebody's voice advising you on what to do, you have not meditated. When you have spent 20 minutes reading a book, you have read a book, you have not meditated. Right? What is meditation? Meditation is going inwards. It is releasing the outwards, the tangible. It is sitting with your intangible self. It is observing your thoughts, emotions, and coming to alignment. If you have not done that, and you have put in all these distractions from it, you have not done the work. Okay, and it's very necessary to know what our distractions are. Sometimes our distractions are YouTube, our distractions are Netflix, our distractions are eating, our distractions are saying I'm going for a walk. A routine can also become a distraction, a meditation can become a distraction. See, all of these instruments are basically like drugs, and as with a drug, you won't take an antihistamine every single time you sneezed. Okay, sorry, excuse me, that's just my dog in the background. You might hear him. So the thing is, every time you sneeze, you would not take an antihistamine. In the same way, you have to use these instruments very carefully and as applicable. They're great as a kickstart. They're great to bring your focus back to something. They cannot consume your entire inward work. Inward work is going to be difficult. It is going to be a process that brings up uncomfortable things. It is going to be a lot of hard work to stick to. You're not going to want to see everything that comes up, but that is what the inner work is like. It's like spring cleaning, it's like Diwali cleaning. You're opening your cupboard and pulling out certain things, right? And anything that allows you to focus on something else but doing that is a distraction. And we do this also in our daily lives. Okay, we sort of sit there and say that, I put my mind to this, but nothing came of it. List down all the things you actually did. I put on music and tried to, study this. You listen to music, honey. You did not study this. Okay, so there are these distractions that we allow into our lives, and we sort of see them as equal to our hard work, but they are not. So each one of our distractions are different. It's necessary to list them out and sort of come to a very authentic realization of what those distractions actually are. Okay, sometimes it could be that I'm studying for something, and but I have also taken part in all these extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities are great, but are they using them? So all of these by themselves are great, but are you using them instead of what you're supposed to do is the question you need to be asking. I'm not saying don't listen to music or don't watch a YouTube video, but is this supposed to be a substitute? Are you using it to supplant, or are you using it to sort of replace the kind of learning and inner processing that you're supposed to be doing? So it's necessary to question that. And the last point I'd like to bring up is self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the belief that, this is not going to happen to me, this won't come in no matter how much hard work I do, and once I get it, I also don't deserve it. I see other people worthier than me, better than me, putting in more work than me, they possibly deserve it more. All this comes from, one is a sort of internalization of the feedback that teachers and parents have given us, that this kind of a person deserves to win. Okay, look, maybe your brain works faster, maybe you process things more, maybe you have a different kind of a reading habit that has allowed you to internalize information far more easily and bring it up. You are not the same as the next person. So don't look at the other person and say, if X person takes 8 hours to do this, I must take half an hour to do this. That's not how it works. Okay, so first, how you defeat self-doubt and imposter syndrome is knowing yourself. To know yourself, you have to go back to step 1 and step 2. You have to go back inside the construct, look at yourself and see who you really are. Okay, when you know who you really are, you will not be distracted and you will not doubt yourself, because you know that even if everybody else is putting 12 hours a day, I can do it in 2, and I'm confident about myself. That confidence also comes from a lack of self-worth. Defeating this lack of self-worth, and the lack of self-worth comes from feeling that somehow I don't deserve this success, and that maybe, I'm not good enough for this. I'll give you a small example. Recently, I have been spending a lot of time, writing my fiction manuscripts, and they were never getting published. So recently I was speaking to a friend and who said, I'm waiting for your manuscript, where is it? And I said, I'm working on it, I'm trying to improve it. And she just said one line to me, and she said, what do you have to improve? I've seen your writing, you've been writing for years, you're a wonderful writer. Just send it. And I'll be honest, nobody until that point had ever told me I don't need to improve, that I am good enough. And me, even though I'm a published author, even though I've been a journalist for 20 years, that was literally the first time somebody told me, you are good enough. And it just hit me. And I said, why am I struggling? What am I struggling with? What is this imaginary standard of good enough that I have said? When will I be good enough? Who is to say that one is good enough? These are imaginary, subjective standards. Nobody decides, right? Some people like a book, some people don't like a book. Some people, like what you do, some people don't like what you do. And yes, there are sort of, other things in which there are standardized rules and says, when you do this, you're good enough, when you do that. But you know what? I'll just do what I know to do best, what I can do best. And what that does is it lifts a whole lot of pressure from you. And you stop sort of attempting to run to meet an imaginary standard, and you align with yourself and you work to your own standard. And when you work to your own standard, you're putting out your best. And that is the best way to defeat your imposter syndrome, to defeat your self-doubt, to feel that you are worth it, that you will get there, and to remove this construct of who other people think you need to be. So I hope these 5 points really help you sort of defeat the things that are blocking your way and allow you to come into alignment with yourself and sort of conquer those obstacles that are currently in your path. Have a great day, and I wish you a great time. See you soon.